Edward, and it was big.
Hello, everybody. We are live. Welcome to Seller Ladies. Lost complete count of what number we're on now, but Seller Ladies umpteenth. And today we're joined by Heather, Treasure Pirate.
Hello.
And Karin, the sewing thrifter. And Karin. Oh,
sorry, that was me.
Oh, I've done that then. And Kelly,
it's not me.
Fantastic Kelly, and Becca. Yeah, hello. How is everybody today? So.
Yeah. No today.
It's that Friday feeling.
There's tumbleweed in Treasure Pirate Towers today. Tumbleweed day.
Oh. Yeah, it's been a bit of a mad day here, rushing about, trying to get stuff done. And we're going to have to cut this short today because Nick's going live with Edward on Edward's channel, which is Antiques Arena, at 3:00. And I'm not sure how it works with using StreamYard on the same account. So I don't think we can cross over. So I'll probably have to go before 3.
Don't cross the streams, Andrea. Don't cross the streams. You're not seeing Ghostbusters.
Oh, he's saying it'll be fun. Yeah. Well, if everything gets a bit mental, we'll know what.
Can you tell Becca that I've only just cleaned that willy off the whiteboard?
Oh,
have you heard that, Becca?
We all heard that.
No idea what you're talking about, Nick.
Graffiti.
Anyway, we do have a subject today.
We do.
We don't actually do the parcels, so you won't keep gate crashing. Yeah, so as you can see by the title, we're going to talk about our different methods of working because obviously we're all resellers, but we all work in different ways, and there's no one size fits all, is there? We just all do our own different things in different ways for the same kind of results. So I've got a few questions here, so I might as well start with the first one, which is asking you all to describe your typical working day, if you can. And we'll start with Heather.
Of all the people to start with, I'm not sure I have a very typical working day. I mean, this morning I woke up because I'd overslept for going to my flea market, so that wasn't a good start to the day. But what I tend to do is do the usual: get up, coffee, lots of it, see what emails and sales have come in, print off the labels for them. But of course, because a lot of my stuff isn't here, I have to go to my garage and collect my stock before I can post it. So I don't get everything out first thing, and I usually spend most of the morning running around collecting stuff and packing and posting. And then the afternoons, that's when I'll do my photography or sit and do my measurements and drafts and stuff. But I tend to do big batches of things. I'm a big batch worker, so I do a massive load of photography. I'll do a massive load of matching things up. But I schedule, so I'll have days when I work really hard and get lots done, and other days when, you know what, it's just not going to happen.
Yeah. I think you pretty much answered all the other questions at the same time.
That's it, done.
You're done.
See you later, everybody.
Yeah.
Oh, that's cool. Yeah, Karin, do you have a typical working day, or just?
Well, if I take, for example, Monday, because that's usually typical every week, I wake up probably between 8 and 9 normally, and I have to have a coffee and I have to sit in bed and look at my phone for about half an hour, because if I get up straight away, I usually feel quite sick, so I have to sort of wake up slowly. And then I always come in here, usually in my PJs, and do my parcels and watch whoever's on YouTube at the same time. And then depending on how I'm feeling, I might go on and do either photographing or listing or sorting out stuff. I mean, this week I've been sorting out this office and doing my stock take and putting my new SKU system in, which was recommended to me last Friday. So that's really good. Really impressed with that. Yeah, so and I'm a bit of a flitter, so the rest of the week it depends on, because my husband does shift work, so it depends if he's here or not. If he's not here, I'm normally in here doing something, but I don't stick at something for ages, if you know what I mean. I
Yeah.
sort of get from job to job, do a little bit of this and a bit of that.
Yeah. So do you think that you do your photography in the morning or the afternoon once you've done all?
I do as much of work as I can in the morning, because I'm normally done by about 3 o'clock. And
Right.
so I try and get as much done in the morning as I can.
Yeah. I thought it was interesting, Heather, you saying that you do your photography mainly in the afternoon, because I was struggle with light. Even when it's the summer, I struggle with light, because then the sun starts coming glaring in the afternoon. So I always have to get all my photography done first thing in the morning.
It depends which way you're facing. See, the reason I wait till the afternoon is because the sun there's too much difference between the two windows. So you need an even light. So I have to wait until the sun's gone over a bit before I can do it. So I have a window between I'd say about 12 and 3 when it's at optimum. But obviously with the rubbish camera I've got at the moment and the appalling weather in terms of greyness, I've got a massive pile of, you do not even want to see this, a massive pile of stuff that needs to be photographed.
Bet it's not as big as mine.
Mine might be bigger than yours.
How about you, Kelly? Do you have a typical day?
Well, I didn't, but I'm this year I'm trying to get something in place, some sort of structure, because I'll just do whatever I want if I don't rein myself in a little bit, and quite often that leads to me not doing much. So yeah, I've tried to adopt a new system. It's still tweaking it a little bit, but it's getting there. At least I'm getting some listings up anyway.
Yeah.
But yeah, I normally get up fairly early. I get up at 20 to 6, have a coffee, flick through my phone, see if sales are coming, and then I go swimming or take Winnie out before 9 o'clock, and I normally start work at 9 when I get back.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then like Karen, I'm normally done for about 3. I'm not working straight from 9 till 3, don't get me wrong, but that is where I start waning and I can't do anything else normally.
Yeah.
And I tend to take my photos first before I list.
Is that a light thing or just to?
No, because so many times I've drafted something and then I've come to take the photographs and found something wrong with it, or a stain on it, or a button missing, and I just seem to be doing things twice as things were taking twice as long.
Yeah, I tend to do the same thing. I take my photographs first, and then I draft everything so that at least I've seen what I'm looking for, and see if there's any damage or any stains or anything. Because there's nothing worse than writing out an entire listing and then realizing you just wasted the last 5 minutes or 10 minutes sometimes of your life.
Yeah, more like 10 minutes for me, Andrea.
Like, same with me. Yeah. Becca, do you have a typical day?
Yeah, mine's more structured by the school hours, because obviously my children are quite young, still 5 and 10. So I've got to do the school run twice a day. So everything I need to do that can't be done whilst they're around has to be done during them hours. So as soon as I get back from the school run, it's usually pack all my sales. And I do that first because I found in the past that I'd think, right, well, I'll stop work at, say, 2 o'clock to pack my sales. And then if I got distracted by something or I was out somewhere, I'd be struggling then, and I wouldn't end up sending them till the day after. So now, no matter what, my sales get packed first thing in the morning, so that even if things go wrong, my customers are still getting their orders. And then after that, I go and photograph. But I've been being really lazy and just doing the day's amount of work. So where Heather says she'll do like hundreds of photographs in one and then all the listings, I kind of think, well, I need to get 10 minimum on. So I'll photograph 10 items and then I measure 10 items. And then usually by that point, I've got to go and get the kids and then it's home, tea, blah, blah, blah. And then in the evenings, I then get time to sit down and list. So it feels like maybe 6 hours worth of work is spread out across an entire day. So it's a bit hard.
Yeah. But I think I'm kind of similar to you, Becca. I start after I've taken Ellen to school, come back, have my breakfast, and then I make a start. Try really hard not to watch any YouTube for them during the morning, at least, because that's my most productive time, I think. So just put the radio on, and I have to do my photography first because obviously the light issues that I have, and then do packing and take it into Nick. And then the afternoon is listing and doing anything else that I need to do. So, or, you know, trying to steam stuff ready for the next day. But I do exactly the same. I take 10 things, I photograph 10 things, I list 10 things. Yeah, I think scheduling is a brilliant idea, but I just haven't got my head around that yet. So.
Yeah, it suits me the best, that scheduling thing. It works so well. And, you know, I find if I get a head on for listing, because I've literally got about sort of 50 items, I will just plow through them. And what happens is I've got my two screens next to each other, and I've got YouTube going on one while I'm listing, because I like doing both. It makes the time go a bit quicker. So, yeah, different. Yeah.
Yeah. I do take a bit of YouTube on in the afternoon, because that's the time when I'm starting to really flag and I need someone to talk to me. So I need some sort of company and something to keep me alert. So
I've just signed up for Seller Manager Pro so I can get the scheduling.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, because like most of you said, I'm more productive in the morning, but I obviously want auctions and not at 9 o'clock in the morning, do I? I don't want them ending at 9.
Yeah.
So yeah, so I can schedule them for later.
Yeah.
And I keep saying I'm going to do like what other people do, where they do a big batch of work 1 or 2 days a week, and then that leaves them free. But I think I've only ever got to about 20 listings scheduled, and then my brain goes, "Oh, you don't have to do any work for a couple of days now," and then I get back to square one again. So I never seem to get ahead, even though I say I'm going to work hard and get ahead, and then something happens and I'm just back to the beginning again. So.
Yeah, but
I might find that, but my goal is to try and get a little bit ahead. Yeah, so but I might end up being like you, Becca, and just not working for the days that I've got in the bag.
So can you not schedule at all, Kelly, with your before the seller manager?
You can
schedule at all.
Yeah, you can, but you have to pay for it. It's only like 12 pence a listing. And it'd probably work out cheaper for me just to pay for it individually. But I also get the automated feedback with that as well. So for £5 a month, it's tax deductible.
So I just thought I'd say hello to people in the chat. So hello everybody. Thank you for joining us today. We've got lots of names. I think there's 129 people watching. So thank you and hello. And so I just thought I'd answer a couple of things that people have been saying. Kariba Plays says, have you ever tried Etsy? I'm failing miserably. Yeah, I cross-list everything, well, all my vintage stuff onto Etsy, and I've actually had a sale today, which I'm quite excited about, but it's not consistent. I'd like that to be more consistent, I think. But you get better money, I think, on Etsy, because you can ask higher prices and people are willing to pay a bit more.
Yeah, I've got an account, but I've never actually tried it. I just, it's the idea of double listing things. I just live in horror of selling something I've already sold.
Yeah, I'm getting quite good at cancelling things off straight away as soon as something comes through. So I'm getting in a bit of a routine with that.
I've barely got a grips on my eBay business. Never mind having an Etsy one too. So I'll just concentrate on my eBay for now.
Yeah, I think for some of my really nice vintage pieces that I really should look at it, but it's a time thing. I find that I'm really quite full on, especially as I'm up at the sort of maximum number of listings. I've got auctions. It'll do my head in trying to cope with more, I think.
Yeah, but I think today definitely shows that I've sold something across the board on all of the different platforms that I use. and it just shows you that it gives you more options, doesn't it? So it gives you more exposure and more options. And I've sold extra things that I wouldn't have sold if I was just relying on eBay. So it is worth it, I think. Anything vintage? Hello, she says, I have my own office and storage unit. I find it so much easier than doing it from a home environment. I think, yeah, we were talking about that last week, weren't we, with Sam saying that she, she's moving back home because she actually, weirdly, the other way around, finds it easier to work in her home environment.
I think if you had a nice set-up office to work from, it wouldn't be a problem. But a lot of resellers have just got like basically a storage unit somewhere.
Yeah.
Not really a workspace, a dedicated nice office type space.
Yeah.
I think it'd be different if you had all the home comforts in your office, wouldn't it?
Yeah, and it's very expensive to rent office space.
Yeah, there is that as well. Yeah.
I mean, England is not cheap to rent anything anywhere anyway, but certain parts of the country are worse than others too. But I guess for someone who's maybe in the US or out in the wilds of Australia, maybe they're going to have, the facility more space generally at a more sensible rate.
Mm.
And Anything Vintage says that she's just about to launch her own channel. Just keep putting it off. Has anybody got any tips? I just
do it.
About it. Yeah, I'd say just do it. I'm not very good at making videos for our channel, and I have been really anxious about doing this one today. So
could always do some practice runs and just keep them as private. That's what I did. I think I've done about 8 practice runs, and I've still got some of them as private on my YouTube channel, just so you can look at yourself and see what if you're repeating yourself or if you're not happy with something until you're happy. Maybe.
Yeah. I would say just do it, because if I do what Karin just suggested, I get too critical of myself. I'm talking what my hair looks like, my bag's under my eyes, and am I waffling? Just be yourself, and if people want to watch, they will, and if they don't, then they won't. That's it.
There is one that I was going to put live, and it was really good. I was so happy with it. And then right at the end, Darren didn't know I was recording it, and he came bursting in here, swearing about a neighbour or something, and the dog, and it just ruined it. So it stayed private.
Yeah. I think one thing that I have learned definitely is to not worry so much when you mess up and just carry on. I mean, I went in and filmed a bit for Nick's packing video earlier on, and I couldn't remember what year it was. I just ended up carrying on because there wasn't any point going, oh, stop, whatever. So, yeah, when you watch that, I was just on a different planet, I think. I don't know.
Yeah.
I had in my head, because I knew I was in a rush because I needed to come and schedule this. And, yeah.
Yes, I think we haven't made it easy for you today, Andrew, have we? Organising the chat today. We've all didn't know if it was turning up, what time we was going to get here. Yeah, I'm not surprised you're stressed out about it. Sorry about that.
No, it's all right. I get anxious about it anyway. It's all right once I'm doing it, but yeah, it's just the thought of it, I think, is worse. Well, there you go. That's the advice, isn't it? The thought of it is worse than actually doing it. So just do it.
Just do it. It's like, what's the worst that can happen? Actually, not very much. I mean, I've made some appalling videos, and it's kind of like, I mean, I'm not trying to make a living out of it. This is just fun. So as long as it's fun, it doesn't matter. And actually, the mistakes tend to amuse people more than the factual and resoundingly wonderful advice that we can give.
Exactly. As long as you style it out.
Yeah.
It makes you look human. You're not like just a robot or a presenter or whatever. You're being yourself and you're being human.
Yeah.
And okay, so my second question, which I think we've touched on a bit, is do you work steadily and methodically through the week, or do you try to get everything done and scheduled on certain days in order to free up time to do other things? So who wants to go first on that one?
Is there an option C?
Oh,
like erratically and non-consistent through the week.
If you like.
I do. I think when I'm feeling okay, I work steadily and consistently through the week, every single day. But when things like this week, I've had 2 hospital appointments and things like that, so then it kind of goes out the window a bit. And then it also depends on other things, such as like because I go to various different auctions for stock. So it depends, because they're all on different days. There's viewing days, then you've got to go and collect it. So it depends which auction I'm buying from, what days they're running. So sometimes it's, like 8 o'clock at night and I'm only just starting photographing things to list for that day, or I'm panicking trying to find something I can quickly list. But yeah, that's where the scheduling would help. But I'm just not good enough for that yet.
No, my brain doesn't work that way at all. So I'm exactly the same, and I just end up, just working day to day, and not scheduling. But then I know that you do, Heather. So how does that work differently for you?
My as far as eBay is concerned, it looks like I'm consistent, because a certain number of auctions go up each day, a certain number of other things. It's a rolling program, and I try and keep it all in check. But the way I work, I'll go hell for leather, and then I'll stop, and then I'll go hell for leather again, and I'll get ahead of myself. But I don't stop. I think, I might as well keep going, because I like having that cushion of days, knowing that I've got nearly a week's worth of stuff to go up, but I'm still sourcing. I don't really stop, but it doesn't feel like hard work, because I feel like doing it, if you get what I mean. So if I sat and thought about it and thought, I really ought to be doing X, Y, Z, that's when the problems begin, because I rebel.
Yeah. Karen, how about you?
My working pattern, similar to Becca, is really depending on how I feel. If I'm having a good week, I'll get plenty done. If I'm having a rubbish week, I might go the whole week without listing. It really, really depends on how I'm feeling.
Yeah.
But I have written myself a actual schedule, a week-long schedule, and I think I followed it once, and it's even got the hours broken down to amount to 30 hours in the week, and I've done it once. So I would like to try and be a bit more, have a schedule, but it never happens. It just never happens.
But then, see, that's the beauty of reselling, because if you do have sort of health issues or whatever, you can make it work around how you're feeling and your life. So you just get stuff done when you can and when you're feeling well enough to do it.
Mm-hmm.
Also, it's not just about your health.
I don't like being told what to do as well, so that doesn't help.
That's what I was going to say. It's not just about your health and stuff, is it? Because it's more like, well, actually, I really don't feel like steaming and measuring a load of clothes today, or I'm really in the mood for going around the charity shops today, or whatever. Then that's what it's about as well.
Yeah. Yeah, Mel calls that intuitive working, doesn't she?
Right. I do a lot of that.
Thinking about what can I do today? What do I feel like?
Exactly. I mean, I know I'm going to go to a particular shop on a Tuesday because it's after my yoga class and it's round the corner from my particular shop. But do I carry on and go somewhere else? I had the feels on Tuesday that said, I think I should go to this other shop. And when I rocked up there, it was a £2 sale day. So I have to trust my intuition that's telling me this is a good day to source. Because you can't. I love sourcing, and as Karen has asked there, do I class it as work? Yes and no. Yes, it is work, which it's my living, but I also really enjoy it. So I've got to be in the right zone to do it. To source when you're not in the mood is almost impossible for me.
Yeah, absolutely. But then you've also got to be careful that you're not always just doing the things that you really enjoy about the job and putting off the listing, because then you end up with this massive backlog.
Or putting off doing your accounts or your tax return.
I'm not doing that again. Yeah. Well, we'll be in a similar situation next year where we'll be doing it probably all in one go. But I have said to Nick that from April the 5th this year, I am going to be more organised and do it at least once a month.
I think we all said that, Andrea.
Every year.
So we'll see.
I think we should do this year's straight after this one.
Yeah, but it's been, I don't know, it seems to get more and more paperwork every year. I've just spent the whole week just adding up different paperwork and sorting it out. Anyway.
I would just say to people, but a tip is to make sure you keep an eye on how much you're spending on postage, because I just assumed that PayPal would tell me how much I'd spent on postage, but it doesn't.
No.
So if you're buying your postage through eBay, keep a tally of how much you're spending on postage.
Yeah. I mean, it's lucky for us because we have a Royal Mail account, so everything's separate anyway. So that was easy enough to work out. But yeah. So Kelly, same question to you.
I forgot what the question was, Andrea. Sorry.
You work sort of steadily through the week, either methodically or inconsistently.
Yeah, I've been inconsistent in the past, very sporadic with my work, but like I say, I'm trying to turn that around this year. So I probably work a little bit, not all the time, 6 days at the moment, but I'm only listing 5 a day, so that's my goal. So as long as I get those 5 done, then I'm on track. And to be honest, I'm a little bit behind this week, so I've got a bit of catching up to do. But I've not had a straightforward week this week, so.
Okay. And do you have set days that you do certain jobs?
No,
when I plan your week out, or
when I'm listing, like I am at the minute, I'm just listing out my death pile. So I'll sort my 5 out that I'm going to list the night before, and then deal with them the next day. But once the car boots kick back up, I'll be sourcing on a Thursday and a Sunday every week because I can't wait. I'm sick of tired of stuff in my death pile.
Yeah. And do any of you have kind of set days? Do you plan your weeks? So you're saying on like Monday I'm doing this, Tuesday is this day, or Wednesday, all photography, or that kind of thing?
Try to, but it doesn't always work out that way. You know, have I got a jumble sale to go to? Oh, that looks nice. Yes, please. One of those. No, it's a case of, have I got a jumble sale to go to? You know, am I going to the flea market on this day? Am I going to go to this? So, it doesn't always work out that way. But yeah, you know, it's all a bit hit and miss. But so long as I've not got a massive pile, I mean, this huge pile of photography, and I'm probably talking about, well, it's got to be 100 items there, I would imagine, to photograph. But they're all listed and drafted and measured. So I've literally just got to photograph it and match them up. And that's 100 new ones that will keep me going for a little while. And then I'm going sourcing again.
Yeah. Do you all have set days that you go sourcing?
Other than car boots on a Sunday. But just like I said before, I think it's different. It depends where you're going sourcing, doesn't it? Because some people will only source from charity shops. Some people will only source from car boots. Whereas I'll source from anywhere, anytime. It just depends what's available. Like if I could go and view 3 auctions over the week and find nothing I'm interested in, then I might fancy going to the charity shops. Or like this week, because I had the massive auction haul, I'm obviously not. I really don't need to go sourcing for like another 6 months probably, but
Wow.
So it just depends, I think.
Yeah. So Heather, you go to the flea market on a Friday, don't you?
I've got my Friday flea, but like I say, today I came away with next to nothing. It was just one of those days. So I've got jumble sales that come up, and you know, the stuff I get from jumble sales, it can be lower end, which is a bit annoying because I don't want to use up all my listings on things that are going to sell for a tenner. There's just no point. But I will still go to jumble sales because for what I spend getting to them and spend on them, I can't get that in charity shops. So that's a priority, to get my stock at as low a cost as I can to sell for the highest cost I can. So long as I remember that, then I'll do it. We haven't got any boot fairs here yet. We're not going to have any problems with that. So, you know, they're not an option. And I don't think I've ever even been to an auction because there aren't any near me. There's just nothing. And if I'm not going to Tunbridge Wells to an auction because it'll be silly prices.
Yeah. Kelly, do you still do a boot sale on, is it Wednesday? You used to do one in the week.
No, my car boots are normally on a Thursday and a Sunday. But if you remembered back before Christmas when we had all that terrible weather, my car boots weren't on because it's on a field and the field was just wrecked. So I feel like I haven't been to a proper car boot for about 10 years. It just seemed so long. But luckily, I did have a good backlog of stuff. So, like I said, I've been listing out of that. And they're due to start up again in February, beginning of February. So that is where I tend to get my stock from, just car boots. I'm not really a fan of jumbles or charity shops, although I have been into a couple of charity shops recently and picked a few bits up.
Yeah.
Just to get out and get some new little bits in.
Yeah, and just kind of like scratch the itch, really.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, we're going to a jumble tomorrow. We don't need the stock, but we just, you know, just.
I don't think I could handle a jumble sale with all the people. I think that'd do my head in.
Yeah.
But some people like it, don't they? They like the rough and tumble of a jumble.
I don't like the rough and tumble, but I am getting better at it. I mean, I don't need the clothes right now, and I'm on a bit of a clothing ban, so I'm not going to be getting in there with my elbows. But yeah, I don't mind it so much these days. I kind of zone out.
Yeah, I don't mind it. I was very nervous of it when I first started doing them and felt very out of place. But I start to recognise some of the familiar faces now, that's for sure. There's sort of like whole posses of people that seem to go along. Yeah. I know what they're going to do. They're going to buy it up and then flog it at a boot sale somewhere.
Yeah.
But I'm still picky. Even at a jumble, I'm quite picky. But I've got it down to a bit of a fine art. It does help being reasonably substantial, I have to say, because it means that I can reach over the back and grab things. You know, I quite enjoy it, really.
Oh, you're that hand that comes from nowhere, are you?
Oh, yeah. That's me.
Yeah. I'm quite good these days with saying, shall we swap?
Yeah, I do. I try to be as friendly as I can. And it seems to go down well if you just laugh about it and go, oh, well, you know, do you want to go over there and I'll come up here? And people don't mind.
Karen, do you have set days that you source?
No, but like when I go and volunteer at the charity shop, usually at the end of my shift, I'll go around the store and pick what I want. And there's a charity shop next door, so I'll go there as well. And tomorrow we're taking the dog down the coast, so I'll go to the charity shops down there while Darren's on the beach with the dog. So I'm looking forward to that, because we were supposed to go a couple of weeks ago, but then I wasn't feeling well, so I didn't go. So I'm looking forward to that.
Whose dog was barking a minute ago, by the way?
Monty's too lazy to bark. He sleeps most of the time. He's the incredible sleeping dog.
He's obviously got nothing to bark for. Yeah. Well, we tend to save our sourcing until the weekend. So we spend like Monday to Friday listing and doing all the other jobs. And then Saturday, Sunday is our days for sourcing, either jumbles or boot sales when the weather's better, or we'll pop out into town and have a look around the charity shops. So, yeah. And in answer to Karen's question, I don't feel like sourcing is work.
No.
Not at all. No.
I was sourcing before I even had the idea of having a business. I was just buying stuff and not getting rid of it. I've really got to do something with this stuff that I keep buying.
Yeah.
That is my hobby. I've turned my hobby into a business.
Yeah, well, it's ours as well, definitely. I think we'd still be going to boot sales even if we weren't reselling. Yeah, I think we would, definitely. Yeah, that lovely owl candle jar that I sold a couple of days ago.
You sold it?
Yeah, it went.
Nice, that was.
It went to a subscriber actually, really
right.
quickly, and yeah, I thought I was going to keep it because I really liked it, and Ellen was like deciding where it was going to go and everything, and I thought, no, I'll look it up and I'll see, and it was worth listing. So yeah, I'm glad I did list it because I don't really need more stuff.
Yeah.
But that's the trouble, isn't it? It's so easy to think, oh, it's only 99p and it's really, really nice. And
yeah, I've got a new coat this week. It's not like I ain't got any coats. I've got about 6 already. I've got a new one this week.
Yeah.
But why not?
Bought it to resell, got it home, tried it on. I thought, oh, I like that. That could be my dog walking coat.
That was my find from yesterday, my sugar skulls jumper.
Oh wow, that's cool.
Nice.
Yeah, well, it's not one I'd sell, but you know, I'm always refreshing my wardrobe. I'll get rid of stuff, admittedly. If something comes in, something's got to go out. But I've got so many things that have either got holes in or are too big, or you know, I just think, oh, I'm just so bored. Get rid of it and get new stuff in.
Exactly, it's perks of the job, isn't it?
Yeah.
And that's really why we do this, because we're all thrifters anyway. So you know, we've just turned what we love doing into something that makes us money.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Definitely, if Nick wasn't a reseller, he'd be a hoarder.
Yeah, I think you're right there.
So that leads me on to the next question, which was, other than sourcing, do you work at the weekend, or do you take, and if so, do you take time off during the week?
No, just work straight through.
Or 7 days a week? Yeah.
That's because of this non-scheduling thing. If I could get ahead, I could take a day off, but because I'm still doing, I want to have 10 a day going live. And currently the only way I can do that is to work every single day and do 10 a day. But if I could get on top of this scheduling thing, I'd be all right.
Yeah, I think that might make a difference. I still work on weekends because everyone else is doing what they're doing, and I'm like, well, I might as well do some work. You know, might as well.
Yeah.
Do you think you could push it to 12 a day, Becca, and then save the extras for a day off and then send them live? Do it that way?
Yeah, but it was only a couple of weeks ago I was talking to Sam about it, and I said, in order to, in fact, I might have even said it on this a couple of weeks ago. About I wanted to try and do a couple of extra listings every day to try and grow things instead of maintaining it. So then I'd still be in the same position, because if I did 12 a day, I'd list the 12 a day, and then I'd still be in that same position. So I think I'd need to kind of have a day where I did 50, and that'd help me get it ahead, and then
get ahead of yourself.
Yeah, carry on from there. But I just find it really difficult, especially because I'm restricted with hours, with the school hours, and then weekends. Obviously, you've got to spend time with your family, or you're going places. So it's not like you can just say, "Well, I'm going to do 50 today." So I'm just really struggling for when I'm actually going to find that time to get ahead.
What I think is interesting is we've all been eBaying for quite a few years. Some of us, Andrea, how many years you've been doing it? God knows, forever.
About 18 now.
And yet we still haven't pinned it down, apart from maybe Heather, pinned it down and got it all sussed. We're changing and swapping and changing and still trying to change things and thinking about changing things. So sometimes you don't get it right straight away, do you? You swap and change.
Well, I said I'd never allow offers, you know, people to give you offers. I've always had it switched off since the beginning, because at the beginning I got some really cheeky offers and it used to make me really cross. So I just turned it off. And then this month I've turned it on, and I've had a lot more sales because of it. And people haven't been cheeky. They've actually been fair offers, and I've counted quite a few times and got, you know, they've bought it straight away when I've counted. So I'm pretty happy with it at the moment. So the way it's going, I'll leave it on.
Yeah. I mean, well, just the nature of our business is evolving all the time, isn't it? So sometimes you try and keep up with it. Other times you're trying to change things in order to adapt. And I think that's why we just never really get a complete grasp on exactly, a working method, I suppose.
A strict routine.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's not that kind of a job, is it really? It doesn't lend itself to too much structure.
I don't think we'd want a strict routine, most of us anyway, would we?
No. And that's another reason why we do this, isn't it? It's because we don't want a strict routine. And yet some of us beat ourselves up because we don't have a strict routine.
Yeah, exactly.
James has got a question here, says, is it just me that finds January the worst time for motivation? I can't wait for the spring to come and the boot sales to get back on, etc., to get back into the proper groove of things. I don't think it's just you, James, at all. I definitely, the dark days, the grey days, they really take a toll, I think, and your energy isn't as high, and it's difficult to feel motivated. So it's a real struggle, I think.
Yeah.
I definitely think vitamin D helps. I take extra strength vitamin D that I get from the doctor. Definitely helps me.
Yeah. Oh, I take that as well, but it's like, some days are a slog because, I don't know, it just feels so cold and everything's so dark, and you just, some days are just a slog when it's like this.
Andrea, I'm sorry, I'm going to have to go and get the children from school now. So,
all right, thank you for joining us, Becca.
Bye, everyone.
Bye, Becca.
On a plus note, have you noticed that it's getting lighter in the mornings and slightly lighter in the evenings? We're on our way out of the depths of winter. Woohoo!
Spring is coming. Yeah, it doesn't take long.
I didn't shut the curtains until about 5 o'clock the other day, and I thought, it's not even properly dark yet, and it's nearly 5.
I think when it's cloudy and it's grey, I think that probably affects people almost even more than the actual hours of daylight. And when it's sunny, although in theory I should be doing my photography, that's the days I'm like, I want to get out and source because I want to be outside in nature, not sat at a desk and not in front of a computer. So that what makes me feel more motivated is to get out and just get doing.
Yeah. Will you take less? Do you leave feedback on every sale, or do you pick and choose? We have it set up automatically, so as soon as someone leaves it for us, it gets left for them. So
that's what I've just set up.
Yeah, can I have that option on mine? Because what I do is if I get feedback, I give feedback. So
you can if you get the Seller Manager Pro, because you can't get automated feedback on a basic account.
Because what I do is every morning I'll check my feedback and see if I've had some, and then I'll give that whoever's given me positive feedback, I'll give it to them. So that's what I do.
I just leave it. It just does it automatically. I don't even look at my feedback anymore. Occasionally, if a neutral or a not so good one will pop up, I'll look at it and go, but I'm not that bothered now. It has no effect on my business at all.
It gives me a little boost in confidence because I do get some really lovely feedback of people saying, that I was really kind or friendly or that I helped them. And it gives me a little, I'm one of those people. I like compliments. I like feedback. I need constant reassurance. That's why I'm always putting stuff in our group chats, because I like people's opinions on what I'm doing. I like encouragement.
I think the only feedback I wait for is if I've sent something that's pricey, and I'm dying to get the feedback on that, as long as it's positive. Because I do hold out for those, but the others, they just come in, and they tend to all be along the same lines: nice packaging, quick delivery, that sort of thing.
I tend to find that you normally only really hear from people if they're very, very happy, or if they're not happy, and if most other things are in between, and people get the item and that's it. That it's a done deal. They're not interested in doing anything. But I suppose now over the years, I've got a large amount of feedback that's mostly positive. So that's probably why I worry about it less. Yeah.
Yeah, we're still on our, I'm probably going to jinx it now, but we're still on our 100% positive feedback. So, yeah, sorry, Nick, if I've just jinxed that, but I just wanted to read Karen's comment. She said, I think there's nothing wrong with either working to a routine or working to less structure, as long as you're happy with what you're doing and earning what you need to earn. And that's the main thing. And absolutely, yes. Totally.
I need hypnosis to stop me watching television so much, because that's my problem. If I watched less television, I'd probably do a lot more work.
Oh, definitely. Yeah. I think there's different personalities though, isn't there? There's the types that feel like they need to be doing something all the time and they can't seem to chill out and relax and always busying themselves. And then there's my type that needs to kick up the bum every now and again.
And I like having YouTube on while I'm working, because for me that's I probably would get slightly more done if I wasn't watching it, but I wouldn't do it for as long because I'd get bored. So I like having things like that on in the background. It just helps the time tick round and me keep going. So it's funny, isn't it, how we're all different. It's interesting.
That's what I was saying, that I find in the afternoon it really sort of gives me a bit of a boost when I'm feeling a bit kind of like lacking in energy. But in the morning, I know definitely that I get more done if I have the radio on and I'm just listening to Jeremy Vine in the background.
Yeah. I like radio too as well. I listen to radio too.
Yeah. Love a good debate.
I don't think Mandy's in, but last week she went a bit on a bit of a buying spree, didn't she? Through and bought something from everyone's shop.
Yeah.
Yes.
Which was lovely of her. But we all went back and bought something off her, which is why I'm wearing my necklace today.
Oh, it's lovely.
Oh, especially. It's not normally my sort of thing, but
it looks nice.
It's good.
And I thought I'd wear it just especially in case she pops in later and watches it back. So thanks, Mandy. Lovely packaging, really speedy delivery.
That was so embarrassing with that corduroy jacket I talked about, and it wasn't. I did do my stock check though after, and there was only 2 items that dropped off, and that just happened to be one of them. But it's back on now.
But you've got a system now.
Yep.
It was all for the good.
It's really good. As I said, I've got double the space now in my Kallax unit, which is brilliant. So my office is already tidier.
And it's just so much easier to find stuff as well, I find.
Yes, yeah. And if you haven't got a basic shop or a shop and you've just got a business account, you can do it. You could just put like A1 or A2 in the title at the end if you haven't got the SKU box. Because I've got another business eBay account and that hasn't got the SKU system because I haven't got a basic shop on that one. So yeah, you could just do it in the title instead.
Yeah, a lot of people do. Yeah. Quite often you'll see, if you're looking up comps, you'll see a number at the end and you're like, that's their SKU number. Yeah.
Yes, Karen, the jacket is listed. Karen's just asking me.
Oh, Mandy's in. Yeah. Thanks, Mandy. Is Nick pulling faces at you yet, Andrea? Because his live chat's just popped up on my
oh no, but I have one last question, then we'll go. My last question is, do you give yourself time off just for you?
I don't really need time off.
Tumbleweed there, wasn't it?
Yeah, I thought I'd better jump in here because why everyone else thinks about it. I don't tend to give myself time off because I spend a lot of time on my own anyway, because the kids are out at work all day and Barry works 6 days a week. So, and like I say, if I feel like doing something, then I will do it. So I don't have to schedule time off for myself, if that makes sense. And if I don't feel like cooking, then I won't cook. If I don't feel like washing the pots, I won't wash the pots. That's just my personality. That's how I am.
Yeah.
I did for the first time a couple of weeks ago. Was it a week ago? Just over a week ago. I thought, right, I'm going to have a day off, go out. And everyone was like, go and have an adventure. But I chickened out a bit because I thought I'm too scared to go out by myself. So I messaged my mother-in-law, spoke to her, and she was free. So I ended up going to see her. We went out for lunch. We went and had a look around the charity shops. It was actually really nice. So, and she said, oh, I'm so glad you rung me. And I thought, yeah, I should do that more often. because I always wait for people to ask me, and you shouldn't do that, should you? You should ask other people as well, not wait to be invited. So I'm glad I did that.
Yeah, well done. That's brilliant.
Excellent.
That's the thing, is people don't like to ask. It
Yeah.
is that strange thing, isn't it? And yeah, I don't tend to take much time off or out, and I guess because I'm still in this thing of I want to grow my business, and I'm still throwing quite a lot of energy at it. But that said, one of the reasons I've worked so hard these last couple of weeks is because I know I'm going to have to take a substantial amount of time out next weekend, because I'm going to be very busy, and it's got nothing to do with reselling. So I've literally had to write that weekend off in terms of doing anything remotely to do with the business, and that's fine because I'll be doing something else that's equally important. But yeah, you know, not usually.
I think there's probably a running theme for us all that we're not very good at giving ourselves just personal time off. We're either constantly working, or like for me, the time that I have off from the business, I'm usually giving to someone else. So we go and visit family, or do something for someone else, or, you know, or I'm with Nick, or, you know, whatever. And I realized I just don't do anything just for me anymore. Apart from my Pilates class, you know, that's the one thing that I do. And
yeah. I do yoga for the same reason. That is purely for me. I do my drumming. That is purely for me. And I felt quite selfish doing it because it threw out a few people's plans. It's like, no, I'm putting my foot down here. I've waited for years to do this, and I'm going to do it now because you're all old enough and ugly enough to take care of yourselves.
Yeah.
So yeah, in that way, I am quite selfish about certain aspects of my time because it's my sanity. It's what I love doing. I've had to say, right, yes, I can take you to Dungeons and Dragons on the Sunday, but I can't do it the following week because I'm playing at a wassailing thing in the middle of a field in Limpsfield. So yeah, I will not be available. So just bear that in mind. But if you have to be quite clear about your boundaries there, because otherwise they forget that you actually have a life too, and you're not just mum or, you know, what have you.
yes. Yeah, definitely. So yes, if we leave that on that note, that everybody who's watching, try and make some time just for you. It's not all, what do they say? All work and no play makes Jack a dull boy.
Yes, and do as I say, not as I do.
Yes. Okay, I better go because I'm sure that everybody that's still watching us will want to hop over to is Antiques Arena. It's that YouTube channel. Nick's chatting on to Edward. I can't remember what they're talking about, but I'm sure it's about boot sales versus auctions. Boot sales versus auctions. That's what it is. So yeah, head over there and give them a watch.
I don't know whose channel it is next week for Seller Ladies, but I won't be here because I'm going to Suffolk to see my family and my mum's birthday. So
okay,
I won't be here next Friday.
Yeah, I'm sure we'll work it out. Yeah.
See you all back in a minute then.
Yes. Anyway, thanks, ladies, and thanks for joining us. Bye, everybody.
At least